How are you guys doing? Today is Wednesday, December 23rd, 2020, out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to take you through yesterday's Elite performances from the debut or from the opening day of the 2020-2021 NBA season. In addition, I'm just going to go through what happened with college basketball and what's going on with soccer thus far in the season. Starting off with last night's matchup between the Brooklyn Nets and the Golden State Warriors. The Brooklyn Nets were able to beat the Golden State Warriors 125-99 as Kevin Durant went on to face off against his old team, and he went to kind of put on a show in his first game after not playing for almost 2 full years in the NBA. And looking at how the Golden State Warriors fared, Stephen Curry, their goated point guard, would finish with 20 points and 10 assists in 30 minutes as he shot 7 for 21 from the field, 2 for 10 from 3, and he made all 4 of his free throws on the day. In addition to him, James Wiseman, the second overall pick from the 2020 NBA draft out of Memphis, finished with 19 points and 6 rebounds in 24 minutes as he shot 7 for 13 from the field and 4 for 8 from the line. This was his NBA debut, and of course it's better than a lot, so I mean he can only really get better from here, but great outing from him. For the Brooklyn Nets, starting off the bench, their shooting guard Karis LeVert would finish with 20 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists in 25 minutes. And then out of their starters, their goated small forward Kevin Durant in his first game in the NBA, playing against the team he most recently won 2 championships with. He finished with 22 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals as he shot 7 for 16 from the field and made all 7 of his free throws. And then their elite point guard Kyrie Irving would finish with 26 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists in 25 minutes as he made 10 of his 16 field goal attempts. He shot 4 for 7 from 3, and he made both of his free throws on the night. With this win, the Brooklyn Nets are now 1-0 on the season as the Golden State Warriors now drop to 0-1 on the season, as we kind of got a alternate preview of what could be an NBA Finals matchup, as both teams are looking incredibly strong, but the Brooklyn Nets showed that they were the stronger team earlier on. And then jumping to the other game of the night, the Los Angeles Lakers hosted the Los Angeles Clippers in their season opener, as the Los Angeles Lakers, the players that won the championship last year, were of course gifted their championship rings. Anthony Davis among many getting their first, LeBron James winning his 4th, of course on his 3rd team. So of course that was a big night that was just a big night for the NBA in total. But considering the Los Angeles Clippers were the team that had to watch the Lakers win in their home stadium, that kind of lit a fire under the Clippers. And in this game, the Los Angeles Clippers were able to beat the Los Angeles Lakers 116-109. For the Los Angeles Lakers, first off, the reigning 6th man of the year from the Los Angeles Clippers, Montrezl Harrell, went to the Lakers. He finished with 17 points and 10 rebounds in 32 minutes. He shot 6 for 7 from the field. And then out of the starters, their elite power forward, Anthony Davis, would finish with 18 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists as he shot 8 for 15 from the field, and he made both of his free throws on the day. And their goated small forward, LeBron James, would finish with 22 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in 28 minutes as he shot 7 for 17 from the field, made 3 of his 8 3-pointers, and shot 5 for 7 from the free throw line. Looking at how the Los Angeles Clippers performed, going through their starters, their elite small forward, Kawhi Leonard, would finish with 26 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. He's their goated small forward. And in this game, he would shoot 10 for 26 from the field, 1 for 8 from 3, and he made all 5 of his free throws. And then their elite shooting guard, Paul George, would finish with 33 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists as he shot 13 for 18 in 36 minutes. He shot 5 for 8 from 3, and he made both of his free throws. With this win, the Los Angeles Clippers are now 1-0 on the season as the Los Angeles Lakers now drop to 0-1. That's how the NBA got started last night. And then looking at to the rest of the games of the NBA, because there are no games tomorrow, but the teams that didn't get their start yesterday, they're gonna play tomorrow, and of course, they're gonna play today. And with no games tomorrow, the NBA season will pick right back up with Christmas Day in a couple of days. And looking into tonight's game, starting with the primetime matchups at 7:30, Jason Tatum, Kemba Walker, and the Boston Celtics are going to host the reigning MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and the Milwaukee Bucks on TNT. And then the later game at 10:30 will be between the Phoenix Suns, led by elite point guard Chris Paul and elite shooting guard Devin Booker. They're going to host the Dallas Mavericks, led by their elite combo guard forward Luka Doncic on ESPN. So those are going to be the two primetime matchups. But in between, at 7 o'clock, the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to host the the Charlotte Hornets as LaMelo Ball makes his NBA debut, his regular season debut. The Indiana Pacers are going to host the New York Knicks, also at 7 o'clock. The Orlando Magic are going to host the reigning Eastern Conference champions, Miami Heat, led by Jimmy Butler and, of course, Bam Adebayo. Also at 7 o'clock, the Philadelphia 76ers, led by their elite players Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, are going to host the Washington Wizards, of course, led by Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook at 7 o'clock. At 7:30, the Toronto Raptors, led by Pascal Siakam, are going to host the New Orleans Pelicans, led by Zion Williamson, making his debut for his second season in the NBA. At 8 o'clock, the Houston Rockets, led by John Wall and quite possibly James Harden, are going to host the Oklahoma City Thunder. At 8 o'clock, the Memphis Grizzlies, led by reigning Rookie of the Year Ja Morant, are going to host the San Antonio Spurs. At 8 o'clock, the Timberwolves, who host Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell, as well as the reigning number 1 pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, Anthony Edwards, are going to host the Detroit Pistons, led by Blake Griffin. At 9 o'clock, the Denver Nuggets, led by Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, are going to host the Sacramento Kings. At 10 o'clock, the Portland Trailblazers, led by Damian Lillard, are going to host the Utah Jazz, led by Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. So that's everything that's going on in the NBA today. As of course, like I said, there's no NBA tomorrow, but it resumes on Christmas Day. Jumping to college basketball to show you what's been going on yesterday, starting with the ranked teams. First-ranked Gonzaga was able to be unranked Northwestern State 95-28 as Drew Timme led the way with 25 points and 9 rebounds. Gonzaga is now 6-0 on the season. Third-ranked Kansas was able to beat seventh-ranked West Virginia at home 79-65 as Christian Braun led the way with 22 points and 7 assists. Kansas is now 8-1 on the season. They're 2-0 in the Big 12 as West Virginia now drops to 7-2 with this loss. They are now 1-1 in the Big 12. Fourth-ranked Iowa was able to beat unranked Purdue 70-55 as Luka Garza led the way with 22 points and 9 rebounds. Iowa is now 7-1 and 1-0 in the Big 10, and Purdue is now 6-3. They are 1-1 in the Big 10. Sixth-ranked Houston was able to beat unranked Temple 76-50 as Quentin Grimes led the way with 22 points and 7 rebounds. Sixth-ranked Houston is now 6-0. Temple's now 1-1. Houston is 1-0 in the American Conference, and Temple is 0-1. Ninth-ranked Wisconsin was able to beat unranked Nebraska 67-53 to jump to 7-1 and 1-0 in the Big 10 as Brad Davison finished with 15 points and 7 assists. 14th-ranked Mizzou was able to beat unranked Bradley 54-53 to jump to 6-0 on the season. Jeremiah Tillman finished with 12 points and 10 rebounds. 15th-ranked Texas Tech was able to beat unranked Oklahoma 69-67 behind Marcus Santos Silva's 18 points and 7 rebounds. Texas Tech is now 7-2, 1-1 in the Big 12 as Oklahoma now drops to 5-2. They are now 1-1 in the Big 12 as well. 16th ranked UVA is now 4-1 on the season as they beat unranked William and Mary 76-40 behind Trey Murphy III's 15 points. And then last but not least, 17th ranked UNC was defeated by in-state rival NC State 79-76 behind Devon Daniels' 21 points. NC State is now 5-1. They are 1-0 in the ACC, and UNC is now 5-3 as they now drop to 0-1 in the ACC thus far. I'm looking forward to today's matchups because there's no basketball tomorrow, but it resumes on Christmas Day. Starting at 3 o'clock, 13th ranked Creighton is going to host 22nd ranked Xavier on FS1. Xavier is 8-0 as Creighton looks to give Xavier their first loss of the season. Also at 3 o'clock, 25th ranked Oregon is going to face off against unranked UCLA on ESPN2. Both teams are now 1-0 in the Pac-12. Both teams looking to remain undefeated in the conference following today. At 4:30, 23rd ranked Ohio State is going to face off against 11th ranked Rutgers on Big Ten Network. Ohio State is 6-1, 0-1 in the Big Ten, and Rutgers is 6-0 and they're 2-0 in the Big Ten. At 5 o'clock, 8th ranked Tennessee, who's undefeated at 5-0. They're going to face off against South Carolina Upstate, who is now 0-7 on the season. So this looks like that might be a gimme for Tennessee. At 6:30, unranked Penn State is going to host 18th ranked Illinois. Illinois sitting at 5-3, looking to get their second win in the Big Ten. And then at 7 o'clock, unranked Marquette's going to host 5th ranked Villanova on FS1. Villanova is 7-1, 2-0 in the Big East, and Marquette is 5-4 and 1-2 in the Big East. So it looks like that's going to be an interesting matchup as well. And then looking at what's going on in soccer, with the scores going on, first starting off with yesterday's matchups, just to show you how those games are looking as of right now. Starting with the Carabao Cup, which is the British domestic cup. Manchester City was able to beat Arsenal 4-1. Just a big game overall. Gabriel Jesus was just starting it off and just pouring an onslaught on Arsenal, just to advance to the next round of this tournament. And the German DFB Pokal, which is the German domestic cup, RB Leipzig was able to beat FC Augsburg 3-0. As they were with this point, they were just able to jump to the next round. Borussia Dortmund was able to beat Eintracht Braunschweig, just to get the pronunciation correct. Jadon Sancho was able to score in extra time to give Borussia Dortmund their 2-0 lead, and so they can advance to the next round of the tournament. Looking at Serie A, which is the Italian league, Fiorentina was able to beat Juventus 3-0. As Juventus picked up a red card in the 18th minute, which would help Fiorentina give Juventus their first loss of the season. Now Juventus is sitting fourth in Serie A as they are now 7 points behind first place AC Milan. That's where they currently sit. Jumping into La Liga, Atletico Madrid was able to beat Real Sociedad 2-0 as they now jump up to the top place in the table. They have 3 more points than second place Real Madrid, even though Atletico Madrid has played 1 less game than Real Madrid, so that gives them another game for advantage. And then also Barcelona was able to beat Real Valladolid 3-0 as Lionel Messi would score the 3rd goal for the team in the 65th minute, to give Barcelona their 3 goals and, of course, the 3 points they need in the table. Considering where Barcelona was about maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, our Barcelona is now sitting 5th in La Liga. They are 8 points removed from the top behind Atletico Madrid, so they're moving their way on up the table. And that's basically what went on yesterday. Looking forward to today's matchups. Just starting with the English Carabao Cup, which is the British Cup again. Tottenham Hotspur is going to face off against Stoke City to advance to the next round, and Manchester United is going to face off against Everton at 3 o'clock. So that's going to be a big matchup to watch, especially if you're into English football. Looking at Italian Serie A, speaking of the teams that are at the top of the table, AC Milan are going to face off against Lazio, and the team that's second right behind them by a point, Inter Milan is going to face off against Hellas Verona as they seek to try to make a jump on AC Milan, because Lazio is still a formidable opponent and they can still beat AC Milan at any given day. And then looking out to La Liga, Real Madrid is going to face off against Granada as they still sit 3 points behind Atletico Madrid in the table despite playing 1 game more. So this is a chance for them to at least even themselves up with Atletico Madrid following today. And then in Ligue 1, PSG sitting 3rd in the French league. They're facing off against Strasbourg at home as they look to get a win against them to see if they can move up the table. And the 2 teams ahead of them face off as well, or they play their games as well, as Olympique Lyonnais or Lyon is going to face off against Nantes at home, and Lille is going to go to Montpellier. But it looks like these teams might win these games, and they may still hold their reign over the Ligue 1. But of course, we still have to see how these games play out. And that's what sports are looking like, of course, as you pan over NBA, college basketball, and soccer. The NFL season won't pick up until Friday, but I will pick up tomorrow following tomorrow's basketball games and, of course, tomorrow's soccer matches. But with that said, I want to appreciate you for listening to all 14 minutes of this piece. Once again, today is Wednesday, December 23rd, 2020, out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and I want to thank you once again for listening to my piece, and then peace out. I hope all is well, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.